All right. We're gonna try this again. Now that my power is back on. Like how they gonna cut my power literally like right at 1:30? That's wild. All right, I'm just gonna share this out and then I'm gonna go ahead and start. If you guys can start putting your questions in the comments section. All right, here we go. Now I see why I was having issues earlier. All right, so if you guys can share the video out, I would appreciate it. Couple of groups that haven't kicked me out yet. Sorry that we had to get back on an hour later, but that's fine. Maybe that's a good thing. All right, share the video out if you can. And let me go ahead and get started. So this is Ask the Trader. How are you guys doing today? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Let me grab my coffee. Happy Thursday. So the format of Ask the Trader is to put your questions in the comment section. And when you put those questions in the comment section, it will allow me to see the question and I'll be able to analyze your stock or your question with my special tools. So let me tell you what's coming up soon. So I do have and let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. If you can hear me clearly, if it's, if it's too loud, let me know. If it's too low, let me know. But I do have a couple of challenges that are about to start. So maybe this happened because maybe everybody's not supposed to be part of this millionaire challenge. Maybe it's supposed to be just a couple of us, right? Usually that's how things are in the first place. So I do have a challenge that's starting November the 1st, which is in 2 days. In that particular challenge, if you've never bought a stock or know anything about the market. So I used to do webinar weeks like all the time. And with those webinar weeks, I would with those particular webinar weeks, I would go from beginners. So like I would have different days. Like the first day would be beginner stock party. Then the second video would be just the technicals of the market. And then the third day would be something advanced, whether it's the futures market or whether it's the options market. And it used to take a lot of my time and a lot of my effort. So what I did was some of the more crowded classes, I packaged that up and I allowed you guys to purchase those videos, which are live, so it feels like you're there, right? When you're in a class setting and there's other people asking questions, kind of like this format, it helps out a lot, right? It helps you feel like, hey, this person or that person may be going through the same thing that I'm going through, right? So, I did those webinar weeks like month after month, especially during COVID when everybody was sitting back at home. And so now I kind of want to give back again, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do what we call a 30-day challenge, and I got this idea from this yoga. So me and the wife do yoga every morning. A lot of people don't know that. So in the morning before the stock market opens at 9:30, I'm usually doing yoga from about 8 to 8:30. Then I go grab something to eat. I drink my water. I go and grab my tea or coffee, whichever one, mostly coffee, before the market opens. So right around 8:45, I start going on my GPTs and I start looking up what the most popular stock is going to be for the day. And then I have to decide if I want to trade it or not. It seems like Meta was that stock this morning, right? And this, whether it's good news or bad news, as a trader, you're going to learn how to buy things and make money to the upside or downside, right? So when I'm doing that yoga, I follow this chick named Adrienne. Her name's Yoga by Adrienne, and I'm not even getting paid for this, right? And the only reason why we went with this particular program or format was because she has a bunch of 30-day challenges, and it's not just one. Because if I was to watch just one 30-day challenge over and over and over and over again for years and years and years, I would go crazy. So she would do a 30-day challenge, yoga challenge, and it would still be the same moves, the same things that we're doing, but it'll be different settings. It'll be it'll be different topics of the day. So I got that idea from her, and I was like, you know what? I should do a 30-day challenge, especially since I'm trying to monetize my TikTok platform. So if you haven't gone to TikTok yet, where is my TikTok? Dang, where is it? Oh, there it is. All right. So if you haven't gone to my TikTok handle, go ahead and go ahead and follow me there because I'm gonna be going live every day at 6 o'clock p.m. During the day, I'm gonna do a couple of pop-ups, but at 6 o'clock, I'm going to do education, whatever. Now I have hardly any, like nobody even knows that I'm on here. So I'll be going live, guys, and it just be me in the room talking to myself. And it reminded me of how it used to be when I was, when the Insider Trading Room was created. There was only like four of us interacting with each other. And if two or three people were like on vacation, I'm just in the room posting the same way that I'm posting today, guys. And I was getting 0 and 1 like, 0 and 1 like. But what a lot of people didn't know was that, you can go back to this day and look back 15 years ago and look at a lot of the posts that I was posting. And those posts were dead on, dead on, dead on. So the moral of the story is, just because people aren't following what you're doing, like if you're an expert in something and the masses haven't caught on to it yet, that's, if you're an expert in that field, and I always felt like everybody on this planet has a gift. Everybody has a gift. Now, whether you can monetize that gift is a whole nother story because that's just business 101, right? But everybody has a gift. And the way America is set up, for years, for decades, most of us couldn't capitalize on whatever that talent was, right? Because it was only a couple of areas in the world where you can get the capital and the backing from the banks to push that idea that you have, or push that strength that you have. Like, swimming is like one of mine, right? Swimming and golf and stocks and blase, blase, right? But most people can't become filthy rich off of it because of the resources. Well, the world is changing now. You can go to school and literally become the best basket weaver on the planet and have a multi-billion-dollar business behind you. Weaving baskets, right? Or making shoestrings or making colorful. Like, I don't care what it is. We're in a world now where you can actually start leaning in on your strengths. So that's how I feel when I'm on TikTok, right? It could be 0, it can be 1, but I put in my work. If you haven't been following what I've been doing and what I've been saying and a lot of the pics that I've been putting out there, in my opinion, I'm like, well, that's just their loss, right? Because I have been on point and I have receipts to show for it. All right. So we got enough people here. Enough about myself. But let's show a couple of my receipts, right? These are some of my biggest receipts currently, right? I'm still in Nvidia. I'm never gonna sell it. I decided that the last 10, like the holdings that I have now is literally 10% of what I've owned over the last, what I've been buying Nvidia since 2016. That's what, been 9 years I've been invested in Nvidia, and this is like 1/10 of what I've owned. I keep shedding it, shedding it, shedding it, shedding it because it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the days of becoming rich off of Nvidia, unless you're trading options, are over. It's a $5 trillion company. Like, is it really going to go to 5,000 trillion? Right? It's not going to happen in our lifetimes, right? So you missed out on the Nvidia move, and there are other companies out there that you can make a 3,000 or 4,000% return, but Nvidia is not it. And I try to teach you guys this, like, just because the company makes a whole bunch of money doesn't mean that you gonna make a whole bunch of money. You make money on the growth of that company, and that company can use that money to go and buy other companies so that it can continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But once it becomes as big as it is right now, the largest company in the world, those days of making money is over. You guys should be shedding your, like, if you've made a fortune on Nvidia, in my opinion, you should start, you know, peeling away at it and maybe reinvesting those funds into something else, right? But SoFi is up over 400%. I've been pushing SoFi. I've been pushing Bitcoin. No matter what your your uncle Al or your cousin May told you about Bitcoin, they were wrong. Like, you can, and they're never going to admit it. They're never going to admit that they were wrong about the probably one of the fastest growing assets in history that they missed out on and made you miss out on. But I was in it and I made money and I'm still making money on it. And I still think that it can push. Uh, and then it's funny because the one asset class that everybody lost a whole bunch of money on, which was Curaleaf, I'm actually up in that particular stock, which is funny to me because it had been down for so long that I just had to hold on to it. But it was such a small position in my portfolio, I could hold on to it. So those are some of my receipts that are going on right now. My portfolio is near all-time highs. If the stock market is at all-time highs, you should be at all-time highs. If you're not at all-time highs, you probably want to start maybe following other people like myself that have shown receipts, proven receipts, to kind of show you guys you're probably becoming too much of a black sheep when you're investing and trading. Simplify what you're doing. All of us are geniuses. It's just a lot of the times you guys are using your genius against yourself. A lot of the times you're way ahead of everyone else, right? You got to sometimes dumb yourself down so that you can be able to make money in the market. So I teach that with the What Would Joel Do method. All right. But for the people that just came on, I am a full-time day trader. I'm an expert in stocks, options, futures, and cryptocurrency. I have over 15 years, over 30,000 hours of trading and investing experience. All right. Anything that we say today are going to be the opinions of Joel Harrison. They are going to be the opinions. All right. I want you to do your due diligence. People quit hitting me up in my inbox wanting me to manage your money. No, I'm not doing it. My business is about you doing it yourself. Stop trying to send me your coins to manage. I'm not doing it. Right? I manage my family's funds and my family's funds only. Like, I'm teaching you everything I'm doing, and it's mad easy. Quit being lazy, put in the work, and I promise you, you're going to do better than anybody that's managing your money, and you're going to beat a lot of these guys that are on Wall Street who are supposedly geniuses, right? Right. Like, I'm kicking everybody's butt right now. I'm up like 45%, something ridiculous. Whereas some people are still underwater. And I'm like, how are you underwater? Every stock on the planet went to its all-time highs. And it gave you time to go from April to May to June to July to August to September, October, November. But that ego that, no, everything needs to come down, or, oh, I hate Trump, or, oh, I hate Elon, is stopping you from making money. Oh, it's just keep going, and it's going to come back one day. It's going to come back one day. It's going to come back one day. A lot of you guys have been saying it's going to come back one day ever since 2008. And it ain't come back, and you missed out on fortunes. And a lot of you guys are still in the same place that you were 15 years ago. And you're just now starting to say, man, I got to do something about my situation right now. Right. So, again, follow my TikTok if you can. I got the 30-day challenges coming. November 1st is the first one. It's for beginner traders to intermediate. So I'm going to teach a lot. I'm going to literally on the first day be like, what is a stock? Second day, what is a market cap? And what's funny, guys, is a lot of you guys that really, really think that you're advanced and really, really think you know everything, you guys need to go through the process too, so you can get that millionaire mindset. I'm going to take you guys through how like if I was to teach this to myself again, that's what I'm doing. Now, I am only going live on TikTok because I'm trying to monetize that particular platform. Y'all know when I go in, I go all in, right? So uh, I want to go ahead, go in there, put my stamp on it, put my, put everything in place, and then let that thing run. So I got to go hard for like 90 days. So for the first 30 days, I'm going to do this for free. And if you come on there and you help me monetize my platform, I'm going to give you free information. And I'm going to also talk about the different things that I'm buying and what I see, just like I do on these particular lives, right? So these lives are probably going to go away for about 3 months, and then they're going to come back once the Millionaire Challenge starts in January. The second month, which is December 1st to December 30th, I'm going to do intermediate to advanced. So anybody that wants to know my trading style for futures and options, you probably want to come. Now, I'm not going to be able to share my screen like I do here. So I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I might just put one picture up and we're just going to have to learn from that one picture, which is fine. I think I'm capable of doing it. And then a lot of you guys, when you're watching TikTok, you're also watching it from your phone. So it's going to be really, really hard for you to get educated unless you're able to log in on your computer and be able to look at it, or cast your phone or your computer onto maybe a TV so that you can see it on a bigger screen. All right. And then if you want anything, if you want to catch up, if you want to say, bump that, Joel, I literally want to go through your 3-hour courses, you guys can go to payhip.com. A lot of you guys don't know that you can go there. You can go to payhip.com/what would Joel do. All of my courses are there. Yes, a lot of some of my courses are 2 or 3 years old, but it's all the same information that I've been pushing, which is why I'm in the position that I'm in right now. And ain't nothing changed, and ain't nothing gonna change for the next 20 or 30 years. There might be some slight changes, but when you're on the best platform and you're learning the fundamentals of the market, the fundamentals never change. If you've ever had a football coach or a swim coach or a baseball coach or a golf coach or even a business coach, there is a formula that shows you the foundation of what makes a good athlete or a good business person. That's what I teach in these courses. So that's why 20, 30 years from now you can use the same stuff, but it's the fundamentals that a lot of you guys just don't have. You literally have no idea. You guys have the right intent. You're just doing it the wrong way. And then you're not listening to people like me that are actually making receipts and asking, well, what the heck is Joel doing? Like, why is he making this look so easy? And these other people say that it's so hard, because it's not that hard, guys. Like today, with Facebook being down 18 or 19%, you investors should be buying it. Like that's like one of the easiest buys like ever. It's at the 200-day moving average. And you know what? While we're talking about it, let me go ahead and pull it up. So the hottest stock of the day was this stock here. Let me change my view. Let me grab my glasses. So this is the SPY. We'll come back to the SPY, but let's look at Meta. Let's look at Meta. All right, Meta. Y'all see this? Y'all see this? Now, you don't have to believe what's happening right here, but this is what I like to do. This is what most of you guys don't do, and I'm gonna show you how fast I'm going to do it. And y'all have y'all just don't do this, right? Which is interesting to me, because I'm like, as intelligent and as smart as most of us are when it comes to any and everything in life, for some odd reason, when it comes to the stock markets, we get dumb. Like we do the dumbest things. We gamble. We go off our gut. Because we actually think that it's just things that can go up or down, right? But watch this. It's 251. I'm literally gonna go back and look at the history of Meta all the way to 2015. All right. And I want you guys to see something. Look, this is 2014. Look at what do you guys notice? You notice that this stock usually will go up high, come down low, get close to this blue line, and then everybody would buy it. Now, this is 2014. Now watch how many times this happens. Y'all see this? It's like magic, right? Y'all see this? It's like magic, right? That's 2015. Look at this. Y'all see this? This is like magic, right? Y'all see this? Y'all see this? It's like magic, right? But y'all call me the guru, but like, why am I the guru? Because I know how to buy something when it hits a blue line? Like, do I really deserve the guru title? Because I literally I told y'all I went on at 251. It's 252. We've already looked at 3 years worth of information. Y'all see this pattern? Now, right here from 2014 to 2018 for 4 years, for over 1,000 days, if you bought at the 200-day moving average, you won. So in 2018, which I believe was when we were impeaching Trump, we had a little oh, and then all of a sudden, look at what happens. 200-day, 200-day. Look at this big one. But y'all know what happened here? This is the pandemic. But guess what? It was the best freaking buying opportunity ever. Look at here. Look at here. Now, look, we dropped again. Now, this is 2022. Everything went down in 2022. It was a bad year for the stock market. Now here's a real statistic. The stock market spends 80% of its time going up. 20% of the time it goes sideways or down. So remember, we went all the way from 2014 to 2023. We went 9 years before we had an actual selling period, and it only lasted for a year. And if you had the balls to buy, or if you were looking at statistics and just looking at patterns, you would have known it was one of the best. This is how people become millionaires, because they don't listen to thousandaires who's crying about the market. Because if you understand how the market works and you understand that the market is rigged to go up, you have to know that these are opportunities to buy. This is when you go all in. And look, another 200-day moving average buy. And this is where we are today. So what? And from 2014, now look, guys, it's 254. It took me 3 minutes to do this. 3 minutes. And y'all won't even go and learn this. I'm not doing no stuff. Joe, I don't have the time to do it. Why don't you just trade my money for me? You're lazy. That's why you don't have money. That's why it's hard for you to make money in the market, because you won't do this simple little task. And you're failing for your family. You're failing for yourself. You're failing for all the people that are around you, because you refuse to learn how to read a freaking chart that a 5th grader can read. And then you get mad at me because I throw that out in your face. Joe, my wife listening in on me right now. You gonna talk like that to me in front of my peers? Yes, because y'all need to hear it. Y'all need to hear it. This market is so easy to freaking buy. I don't care what nobody says out there. It's the easiest thing I think I've ever done in my life. Ever. It's so simple. You buy when it hits the averages. And it's been working like that for 50 years. The problem is a lot of us didn't have access to these tools to the last 20 years, last 15, right? 2008, 9 is when I started learning it, right? 15 years ago. Nobody really came to you and was like, Joel, I didn't know it was that freaking easy. You got y'all out here paying $15,000, $20,000 for classes, all this advanced stuff that y'all don't even need. And y'all don't even know how to buy when it hits the freaking blue line. Like that's why I rant all the time. I rant all the time because it don't make no sense for 5 or 6 people in the room to be profiting off something like a Meta or Nvidia, and you to be losing because you want to go buy these penny stocks that Uncle Al then told you you should buy. Like, ain't nobody buying penny stocks except losers. That's why I rent. I rent because a lot of my family listen in, a lot of my peer group listen in. And I see people make such idiotic mistakes that it just makes me angry. It just makes me angry because I'm like, y'all can't really go this route, right? You really are still going to allow somebody else to manage your funds and make 10% a year when I can see right here the last time Meta hit the 200-day moving average. Meta, Facebook, y'all on Facebook right now watching this live. You on here watching it right now. You on Facebook every day, 3 hours a day, arguing with me in the room. But then the move from the bottom was 60% on Facebook. Y'all know Facebook ain't going away. But then you'll go buy some company that ain't nobody ever heard of. I'm going to go buy some of these quantum stocks. And you ain't profited yet. You can buy the quantum stocks when you start profiting on real companies. Like if y'all can't make money off Meta and Microsoft, Google, and Apple, hang up trading and investing. It ain't for you. It ain't for you. If you can't buy Apple when it's 20% down and then make another 30 or 40% in the next 12 to 18 months, trading and investing just ain't for you. To be honest, you might want to consider doing something outside of investing. Because this is the building blocks of business, guys. This is the building blocks of business. This is where you have to learn risk to reward. You got to know how to lose. You got to know how to take a win. You also got to know how to do research. And you got to be able to do research quickly and be able to make a decision and not off of your emotions, right? Okay, we're sitting at the 200-day. Great. This is how my mind thinks. And I'm mad because I was talking to a client earlier about investing, and it just made me upset on some of the moves that they had made over the last 5 years. It was shocking. Shocking. All right. So we get here to 678, right? We're 18% down, right? I'm pretty good with numbers, so I can look at 800, see that we're about 665. So we were down 18% early this morning. Now we're down about 15%. It's moved 3% from the lows. We got a gap over here, but we hit the 200-day, and it looks like we're forming what we call a hammer. A hammer is hammering out the prices. Now, does this mean that we're about to explode back up in price? Nah. But as an investor, you sometimes you might want to take a shot at something like this, maybe to the upside, right? If you're an investor, this is when you first start buying. I want to buy things that are on sale that's got some type of equity in it. I know a lot of you guys that bought Meta yesterday before the earnings period. I can always spot a inconsistent trader. Anybody that loves to trade earnings, guys, run away from them. They don't, because earnings is not guaranteed. Good news can come out, the stock can go up. Bad news can come out, the stock can go up. Good news can come out, which actually happened in Meta, and it drops 12%. Bad news can come out and it can drop 20 or 30%. Stop trading earnings, guys. Position yourself after the news comes out, because that's what advanced traders do. Y'all could trade. We could have day traded this today. Like, why are you guys getting in the day before the earnings comes out where you have no idea what direction it's going to go? Now, if you were doing options and you was playing the volatility, then I'll be like, oh, okay, you're an advanced trader. You think that it's going to move more than 10 or 50. If you're doing strangles and straddles, I get it, right? But you guys that are like, oh, it's raining today, so Facebook is going to go up because, I don't know, something that you heard. Every now and then you're going to win, but believe me, you keep doing that over and over again, you're going to lose all of your money. But why gamble like that when I could have woke up this morning? I could have literally, and this is the millionaire challenge. This is the essence of the millionaire challenge, right? I want to look for something that's moving just like this. I know that it's moving. I'm not trading like those novice traders early in the morning thinking they know what direction it's gonna go, right? It moved to the downside, right? You could have taken a trade right here at 11:30. Look at this. Y'all could have heard the news come out, hear all the people say they made money, hear all the people say they lost money, right? You could have got, because it's moving 18%. That's what you want. You want something that's going to move, right? You could have traded this if you had 60 something $1,000, you could have bought this at 662. You would have been up $18,000, right? Very, very quickly. I think, is that right? 662, 680. Yeah. You could have made a quick, amount of money, right? If you were trading it in options. Watch this. I'm going to show this very quickly. You see how it started to go up in value? You could, at 11 o'clock, you could have decided that you want to trade Meta. You could have been like, oh, Meta's going up in price. I'm not even looking at today's options. I'm going to look at next week's options. Even though these options are down, you still probably could have been able to catch something. You know what I'm saying? 665. I don't know. Look at all these contracts out here. 700 strike. We know it wasn't going to go to 700, but let's just see what it did. I just want to see what was going on with the stock. What the heck? Oh, that's because I'm doing this on a new computer. Sorry about that. Dang, I'm not going to be able to do it today. I don't want to do it this way. Don't worry what I'm doing. I teach it in my options class. All right. Remember what I told y'all happened at 11:30? Look at this. This is how Joel trades. Y'all trade like bums. Joel comes in, wait for y'all to all kick each other in the head. I'm taking options the week out, and I'm sitting there, even though Meta sold off. I know a bunch of you think you smart traders are like, oh, it's down 18%. I'm going to short it too. It's going to drop to 0 today. Joel comes in, lets the market tell you what it wants to do. I would have been in here right when it started turning green. I would have put $600 in this bad boy, and I probably would have made 100% return to the upside in an hour, and then I would have been at the golf course. And y'all are wondering how the heck he's trading so easy, because y'all ain't talked to real traders before. Y'all just go out there taking classes from people that know how to teach classes. Y'all aren't talking to traders and investors. I know this because they won't do stuff like this live. They just won't, because they don't know how. But they'll teach you what it's doing. Making 100% return in a day, guys, is nothing. That's why I rant all the time, because I'm like, guys, this stuff is dumb easy. Y'all just are doing the wrong things. You have the right intentions. I get it. You got the right intentions. But if you've never talked to a trader that's actually trading or believe in them, you're not going to know how to do things like that, right? You're going to do just like everybody else who was trying to short it and tried to short it at 9:30. When it was 667, right? And now we're back at 664. You would have been, the short would have gone against you. You would have lost all your freaking money. Who's coming in at 1250 or 1 and putting the short back on? Most people aren't, right? Y'all are doing the opposite of what you're actually supposed to do. And I learned that a long time ago. Now, I don't really talk about day trading a lot. But what you see in this chart, it doesn't matter what time frame you're using. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. It's price action. If you never learn price action, trading and investing is going to be very difficult for you, because you're going to use your brain and try to outsmart the market. Quit trying to outsmart the market and ride with the market. Just fundamentally go with what the market is doing. When money flows in, you flow in with it. When the money flows out, you flow out with it. Quit trying to get in front of the train. Watch the train. You hear the train, guys. You see the train go past you. You see the train going left. You jump on the train. The only person that can jump in front of a train is Superman. That's it. And y'all ain't super traders like that. Y'all are trying to reverse momentum instead of riding momentum. I've been saying this forever because I'm a real trader, a real bona fide trader. Only one out of probably 10,000. I don't trust, but like maybe one out of 10,000 people trading. Numbers might even be higher than that. Because most of the time, if you see them on publications or they're teaching or they have a big name, I promise you it's not because of trading. Most traders are not known. Most people aren't most people don't follow people because of their trades. They follow them for the educational side, but most traders don't become famous. Like the people that I really do trust, like we're like we just like to trade, like because that's where we make our money. But we're the ones that are behind closed doors that y'all don't hear about or talk to. And a lot of the people that have the biggest megaphones, they ain't buying nothing. They ain't trading nothing, and they're leading you astray. So I rant all the time because of that, because of the way that the market has gone. All right. I'm gonna get to you guys' questions now. That is my rant for the day. I promise you I ain't gonna rant no more. All right. I promise you I'm not gonna rant. I'm not gonna rant. And I'm already mad because the freaking power line got not power line. My power went out at 1:30. I was supposed to be done by 2:30 and on the course. So now I'm mad because I can't play golf today. Because I'm giving you guys this free information. Same thing, S&P 500. I'm going all the way back to 2012. It is 308. Watch how fast I see this pattern. 2014, 2010. I've been in the market for about 3 years. Look at this. 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins, 4, 5 wins, 6 wins. Uh-oh. Then it starts all over again. 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins. Joe, trading is so hard. 10 wins, 11 wins, 12 wins. You can kind of count this. This is the pandemic, but we won't count it. 12 wins, let's just say 1 loss. Ooh, this was a big loss. And then we start all over again. So big loss, pandemic loss, 2022 loss, but probably because of the pandemic. And then guess what, guys? It's off to the races again. 200 day, 200 day, 200 day, 200 day, 200 day win. And now we're way up here in the stratosphere, and you've missed out on the market for the past freaking decade. The stock market is a casino. Word? You obviously ain't looked at no chart. Bitcoin is snake oil. You obviously ain't look at no market cap. like that's what goes through my head when people make silly statements. Like it just does. Like you cannot believe. Look, I don't believe in any company. To be honest, I don't think any company out there unless it's in the which is funny because I actually think the pharmaceutical companies should be the ones that are 5, 10, 15 trillion dollar companies, right? Maybe your Apples and your Nvidias and your, a couple of your AI companies, Netflix. But I think, in my opinion, the majority of companies out there just don't make money. They make money because people are investing in it and the market caps are going up. They can reinvest in those stocks. That's why a lot of these companies are profitable. But for the most part, like most companies just don't make money. They just don't. But the market keeps going up in price, right? Because governments keep printing money. They solve problems by printing money, right? And that's where we are right now. And when they print money, that means there's more money in circulation than it was a year ago or 3 years ago or 5 years ago. And a lot of you guys ain't figured that concept out yet. We didn't start out with the same amount of money 20 years ago, guys. 20 years ago is probably 20 times more money in circulation now than it was 20 years ago. And I'm just throwing a number out there. Just that alone tells you, oh, inflation is just gonna happen. And in periods where things are bad, it's really gonna super inflate. So how do you know when to buy? Well, I just showed you in 3 minutes. I've done as much research as some of you guys do in these 3, 4, 5 hour classes that y'all have with these individuals looking at stocks that you gonna buy. And I'm like, guys, it ain't that freaking hard, right? This and here's the thing also, guys, the charts are a result. Listen to what I'm saying. The charts are a result, a result, a result of research. So when you're looking at a chart and you start seeing a stock go up in price because the 200-day is angled up, remember, there's people that are paid billions of dollars to figure out what companies with the type of stuff that's coming in is going to be profitable in the next 12 or 18 months. And they have all this money and research going into all of these companies that are growing in value, growing in size, and growing in the amount of money that they're making. So these other people or entities are already investing in it. And when you pull up your charts, that's what you see, the result of research. You hear what I'm saying? You're looking at that's why you don't even have to go and research. They've already done all the work for you. Y'all shouldn't be researching companies, and like, you should do it if you want to understand what the company does and where it could go. But for the most part, they've done all the research. That's why money is flowing into it. When you see companies going down in price, you actually think you smarter than Wall Street? You gonna turn that stock around? A lot of you guys think you are because you work there, right? You guys got to stop thinking the way that you're thinking. It makes no sense why 90% of the room shouldn't be up in value. The only people that should be down are newbies and people buying penny stocks. That's it. That's the only people that should be losing in the market. Newbies and penny stock buyers, or options traders that go all in all the time. These are the people that lose the most in the market. No risk to reward, or people that don't look at charts. Now, investors are going to make a lot of money, right? Investors, you throw something at some stock, you wait 12, 18 months. Remember, the market spends 80% of its time going up in value, right? You got a 200-day that's angled up, that gives you another 60 or 70% chance of winning. Y'all shorten the market. Shorten. Half the room, actually, at one point, it was like 80, 90% of the room felt like bears. That's why there's no activity right now, because all the bears got ran completely over, right? And bears, in my opinion, they just aren't, they want money fast. They don't believe in the market. They're negative on it. They don't understand the fundamentals of it. And all they believe is that it can't go any higher. And then they lose all their money. And then they keep shorting and they keep shorting until maybe a 2022 comes, right? Remember, the market does go down 1 out of 5 years. Maybe next year is that year. You know, we are going to go into a bubble one day, but a bubble, guys, don't last a lifetime. It lasts, from what I've seen, on average, 344 days. 344 days for you to go make as much money as you can to get in the market, because it's going to run another 5. I remember back in 2022 at the end of the year when I said, guys, if the market starts going up, because I started buying in that October, here are the statistics. Nobody wanted to believe it, because when you come out of a period like this in 2022, when you go through a period like this, psychologically, it's gonna make you feel like the world is coming to an end. But this is why investors make so much money. They want you to feel this way. Every stock was going down, but psychologically, think about it. For a whole year, every stock was going down in price. At some point, guys, there's no more sellers. You've sold everything. There's nothing else to sell. You actually reach what we call a bottom. Even when the real estate market crisis happened, guys, houses didn't go to a penny. They got really low. They got lower than I ever thought they would ever go, right? There were if you lived in a $400,000 or $500,000 community, it was normal to see a house go for like 100 and something in a $500,000 community. That was like the norm because houses were going down 80%. And we had never seen anything like that in history. And even during that period, guys, do y'all know that only lasted for about a year? It felt like it lasted a lifetime, right? It lasted for a year. And if you were liquid and you had cash, you were able to capitalize on it. I had a bunch of friends that bought houses in communities for 150 under $200,000, and they're all coming to me now to sell those particular properties. Right? I got a closing coming up soon where a friend of mine bought a house for $65,000, a 2,500, 2,200 square foot house for $65,000 that was built, like in the 80s, all brick. Like what? What? Well, if you're liquid when that happens, when everybody thinks the world's coming to an end, and it always happens. It happens. We go through 4 or 5 year shifts, and then bam, everything sells off. If you're liquid, you're able to buy something. This is 2022, right? I'm going to show y'all 2008 because a lot of you guys don't believe me. If we go back to 2008, 2009, dang, it won't even go back. Hold on. Let me see if I can make this go back. Let me see. Let's go back 20 years. Dang, we so old. We can actually go all the way. We can go 20 years back. That's wild, right? This is 2006, 2007. This is 2008, guys. 2008. This is 2008 when it started to roll over. Right when Obama went into office. Then we had the March 9 lows. This was 2008, guys. This was August 2008. We bottomed in March. So think about that. We started to roll over. We can, even if you want to say February of 2008, we started to roll over. When did we start recovering? Right down here. Y'all know when that was? 14 months later. 14. I know it felt like a lifetime. 14 months later, you caught the generational lows. When the S&P 500 was $81, it's now $681. It went up 600%. Just the S&P, Look at this. And then once it started to go up, guys, you could have missed it here and just kept catching it every time it hit the 200-day moving average for the next 15 years. But y'all listening to the wrong people teaching you how to short the market. Why are you shorting something that's going up in a straight line? Because I don't know, you hate the market, you hate people making money, you hate being on the right side of the trades. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It makes no sense unless you just don't like money. That's why I have a lot of haters, because when I make y'all see this for what it is, you're like, God dang, Joel, like nobody is breaking this down like this because you ain't talking to no real traders. That's why. Or people that's got I got a 3,000% return in NVIDIA, and it was the easiest money I've ever made. I rode Bitcoin from 5,000 to 118. It was one of the easiest trades. I rode Netflix from $25 to $1,000 because it was an easy trade. Facebook IPO'd at $45. I noticed because I remember when it was down. It IPO'd at $45. It's now sitting at $667. And y'all on this bad boy every day. And now it's down 20%. And ain't nobody gonna buy it but me. Me and about 3 other people in the room gonna buy it. Because y'all still think the market, this is it, Joe. This is it. Trump's in office. This is when we go to hell. Word? You got a stock market president that literally bases his whole success off of what the market's doing. You can see, I don't want to say stuff because I can get in trouble. You can see manipulation happening in the crypto market. You see manipulation happening in the stock market, and you see it like with your own eyes. And you really believe that in 3 or 4 years, the market's gonna be lower than it is right now. When I just showed you statistic wise, even if you go back to 2008 and 2009, the market sold off at the most for 14 months. So even if it starts to sell off, sit back for 12 months, but still come back in and buy the market. You can not believe in the market. You can believe that it's going to fall to zero, but anybody waiting longer than a year, and it's year 2 and year 3 and year 4 and year 5, you ain't looking at statistics. You're not looking, and that's where my strengths are. That's what my gift is. I can see patterns. I can see patterns in people. I can see patterns in graphs. I can see patterns in stocks. And I try to teach you guys how to see these simple, basic, fundamental patterns, right? And then I try to color code everything so that it makes sense to you, right? When the market does move up in price, I'd use the 10 candle system. So even if you're trading and you're in for more than 10 candles, you're Joel, when do I sell? Well, what's your time frame? What chart are you looking at? If you're looking at 15 or 20 different charts going back and forth, you can't trade. And you can't trade with me because you got too many combinations. It's just math. That's why a combination lock has more than 3 numbers. If 3 numbers gives you what, what, 1,000 combinations? So what does four so what, four numbers gives you what, 90 or what, 100,000 combinations? Every time you add a chart and every time you add an indicator, you exponentially take up the amount of times that you can enter a trade. That's why you should go as simple as possible. That's the math. That's the biology. I got a biology degree. That's the biology degree coming out of me. I'm a scientist at heart, right? All right, so let me get to some of you guys' questions. I'm only ranting because y'all ain't putting. I know I went off earlier, so a lot of the questions didn't come in. All right, so you got we looked at let's look at Netflix real quick. Oh, y'all about to get me started. Look at Netflix. I remember when it was 100. Joel, I ain't paying $100 for Netflix. My subscription is $15. Well, you don't want to make money. You don't want to make money. It's sitting at the 200 day. Well, this is the time it's going to come down to this support. I just learned about support and resistance. Word? You learned about support and resistance. I can make this a support level. 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 Like, what support level you using? Because sometimes y'all's support levels are not realistic. So what is realistic for a company like Netflix? A high flyer like this probably can drop 25 or 50%. But it's not going to, and if it drops 25 or 50%, this is when I tell people maybe you should listen to the earnings. When the earnings came out for Netflix, guys, the information was positive, not negative. They were like, their subscriber base is increasing. It's not increasing the way that it used to. They're about to go into more countries. Their move by kicking people off the platform is now starting to work out because those people are coming back because they were like, F Netflix, but then they realized Netflix has the best. If you've ever used Netflix, I don't care what country you go to, you can be in the middle of the Mojave Desert and freaking Netflix works. My phone, I could have no signal and Netflix is going to work. It's the best streaming platform that's out there. I don't know what algorithm or what they use or what satellite they using to make sure they stuff always works, but Hulu and everybody, Amazon Prime and Disney, y'all need to get with the program because Netflix is like the best by far when it comes to streaming. Anyway, so what's normal for Netflix? Well, I already know. I can look at a chart and tell, oh, when Netflix drops, it drops about 25 or 50%. I'm going to look at a cleaner chart. But I also see that everybody's buying it at the 200-day moving average. If I was just to go back and all the way to 2000 and look, I'm gonna look at 10 years worth of information. What is this 10 years worth of information telling you? That yeah, it can go through, like you can buy it right there for 103 and it still dropped down to 80. All right. But then it recovered. So yeah, when you're buying at the 200-day, guys, it doesn't mean that's where it's going to bounce by the penny and you try to put an options play on it for next Friday, right? That's a whole different type of strategy of trading, and you're using the wrong freaking chart to even be able to do that. Okay. But if I was investing in this or looking for a swing trade, it usually recovers after it hits the 200-day. You guys shouldn't be buying a full position. You should buy like maybe a quarter position. If it goes lower, you buy another quarter position. As it starts to go up in price, you buy your full position. Maybe you're all in right around 93. And then for 6 months, it went sideways. And even when it started, the 200-day started to angle down and you didn't want to be around, getting out of it, I wouldn't have been mad at you. But then it pushed up in price, came down. How many people would have bought it right here? This is what I teach. This is why I'm a 1%er, because I would have bought it right here, like with all the confidence in the world. But Joel, it can still drop to the 200-day and it still has to fill this gap. Okay. So then I'm not going to buy a full position. You just answered your own fear. If you're fearful of buying it here, thinking that it can drop, don't buy a full position. Expect it to go down. And when you expect it to go down in value, sometimes you get lucky. This happens to Joel all the freaking time. Because as a price action buyer and as a person that goes off of momentum, y'all know, like most of the time I'll get in a trade and can't get all of it in it, because usually when Joel gets in it, it just starts to move. If you're using the what would Joel do method, it just starts moving and then it don't ever come back. And I'm like, God dang, I got to figure out a way to get my full position in without, you look at this, using the what would Joel do, I would have been in right here, thinking it was going to come down in price. And then look, it never came. Well, I guess it got close back here, right? But it just keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up for years. Hits the 200 days, sits there for about, what it sat there. This is 2018. There are going to be periods where the volatility index jumps above 40 or 50, maybe a year. Then it takes off again. Stocks take a break. They take a break and then they push. Then they take a break. Then they push. This is when they did their change. And I remember everybody talked so negatively of Netflix. And Netflix just started laughing and said, okay, we were at 700. It did drop to 250. That's a hell of a drop. But if you bought it for 250, you would be up 400% right now. 400%. Y'all see that? Went straight up. It dropped. People recognized it as being on sale. It's a freaking phenomenal company. It broke the 200-day. You used the what would Joe do method. You would have been in. You see where it says here? You would have been in here. Why wouldn't I have been in here? Because the 200-day is still angled down. Joel would have got in right here, which is where I actually did get in. You actually could have got in right here. Okay. You could have got in right here for 315. Joel would have got in here. Joel did get in at 320. And now I'm up, I don't know, something stupid. Why? Because that's just how the market works. Okay. Great trade if you're in Netflix. All right. Let's look at AST. Sam Logan said ASTS. Ass. All right. Space Mobile. Okay. Y'all are going to say, hold up. 200 days angle down. I don't give a dang who works for the company. I don't care. Cats be lying. I don't care what the CEO say. I'm going to be like, well, why your stock going down? I know your insiders know something. I'm not going to get duped by what y'all spend too much time listening to people all the time. I stopped listening to people. People are wrong. People and I back everything I do up from technicals. That's why I speak confidently about a lot of trades. I'll have my opinion on it, but most of the time it's, why am I listening to you? The billionaires are getting out. I don't care what you have to say about this stock. I don't care. 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 Oh, maybe I'm going to listen to what you got to say now. Because now the 200-day is starting to angle up, and the research that was done to it, somebody did that research before you whose pockets are deeper than yours. And they understand that this stock is about to become profitable. And then the charts are a result of the research, not before. Guys, the technicals don't come before the research. I keep telling y'all that. This is a result. 200-day starts to angle up. Well, shoot, maybe I might listen to what you have to say. What did you say was going on with the company? They got what coming out? Okay, shoot, where can this company go to? See how my brain's different. I don't care about what people have to say. I'll write it down in my notebook. But that's not what the charts are saying. The chart's saying money flowing out. When money starts flowing in, my ears get real big. When the 200-day is angled up, my ears get really, really big. Eyes get big. All right. I remember you talking about that company. All right. What they talking about doing again? You call your friend up. Hey. You remember when you was on that What Would Joe Do Live and you was talking about ASTS? I can't remember what you said that company did. Because that's how I operate, guys. I'm not listening to anybody's explanation on whatever the company is doing until I see something like this. Then it starts to make sense to me. So then where will I get in at, right? That's where a lot of you guys don't understand, right? How am I going to get into this company, right? That's why you got to use the 200-day, right? Or you got to use periods where it comes down in price. And look at that. God, did I even know that this person was gonna? Who brought this out to us? Sam, did I call you up and tell you to bring ASTS here? Nah. How come no other trader who teaches classes can teach stuff like this? Who can tell you what to look for before it even happens? And show and like literally show a magic show. Like, guys, it's not that freaking hard to make money in this game. Y'all just haven't listened to the right people. And blast off. Joe, how did you catch that move? Hey man, I just did. I just did. Now y'all want to buy it way up here. Now you see that it's gonna drop to the 200-day. Y'all see it with your own eyes. But y'all want to be in it now when everybody's talking about it. I don't care about this company until we get down here. Then I might say something. And to be honest, even when it hit here, using the What Would Joe Do method, I would have been in right here. That's where Joe would have got in. Y'all know my method. Everybody who knows, I would have been in right here at one, and y'all wondering how I caught a freaking 100% return. And I missed this whole move while it was bad, while it was awful and terrible. Joel stayed away. Man, F that. Don't bring that stock in this room. Like, get that out of here. But now look at what's happening. Charts are the result of research. It's the result of research. Can this be the reason it turns around? Maybe. I'll listen out and hear what they got to say, but it doesn't matter until this 200-day starts to angle down. Then you don't want to be around, all right? So for now, yeah, it's a great company if you're in it. It was at 100. It's now down 20%. That is normal for a stock like this. It takes me 30 seconds to figure that out. The last time we hit 61, we dropped down to 30. The last time we hit, this is 2025 in March. The last time we hit 35, we dropped down to 18. Y'all see how it's dropping 50% and y'all are wondering why investing and trading is so hard. It ain't, it's just numbers. This is telling you to buy it. This is telling you to buy it on sale 20 to 50% off. If that 50% is near the 200-day, whop, bam, bam. That's how you become a guru. Very easy. Very easy concept. And I'm not going to charge you $40,000 for this simple basic information that you can implement in any strategy that you're using. All right, Applied Digital, Sam, again, APLD. One of my favorite stocks this year that I made money off of. Now, I got into this company I got in way back here. Okay. And I sold it somewhere around here because I don't know, I made like 100 and something percent return like fast, like in a couple of months. And I think right around that time, it was like August, and now it was like September. I came in the room and they didn't know anything about Applied Digital. So at the time, y'all know about a year and a half ago, I created my Ask Joe GPT. I use that Ask Joe GPT every single morning before I trade the market. One of the questions that I asked Ask Joe GPT was, what companies have Nvidia invested in the last 3 months? It gave me a list of companies. Now, I didn't go the lazy route like most of y'all and take those companies, take however much money you had, go on Robinhood, place some buy orders, and then gone to work the next day. Now, could that have worked? Yeah, because I understand the psychology behind it. You're like, okay, Nvidia is buying these companies, so they're probably going to go up in value, but you still didn't have all the information, right? Because Nvidia has been selling some companies and then buying some companies. Some companies they just purchased, some companies they purchased, a quarter position and then they're going to put in a bigger position, right? So you have to be able to pull up the charts. So the 200-day was angled up. So when I was getting that information, I already knew I'm going to buy this company. I just don't know when I'm going to buy it yet. I need to make sure that it drops a little bit because it's going to drop 20 or 50%. And then once it starts to move up to the upside, using the what would Joe do method, because the 200-day is angled up, I'm going to use the 513 cross, get into that trade, and hopefully try to make a double of it. And that's the millionaire challenge. The essence of it is being able to double your money in companies that can move. Now, how would you know a company can move like this if you never look at the market cap or never looked at the beta, right? How do you know it's even a high flyer like that? Well, you got to be able to pull this up and just quickly look at it, right? Last time it dropped 15 to 8, right? Even if I put this little arrow thing on it, it's going to tell me how much it dropped. When this company dropped, it dropped down 37%. So guys, when this company drops 37%, that's normal. Look, that's 28%. So maybe, I already told you 25 to 50 is going to be the sweet spot. At least 20% for something like this. Well, right now it's down. Well, it dropped 27 right there. So it was 27 right there. It was 28 right here. And then it was 35 right here. Now, y'all are smart. What's the average of 35, 28, and 28? Roughly about 30, right? So that's why a bunch of people came in on a trade. Like if you guys want to take quick trades, you guys can literally just take out a calculator and do numbers and be more successful than these cats that's taking these $75,000. I know the numbers keep going up. $75,000 classes, and they ain't even using a calculator. I rant like this because it makes no sense. The strategies that you guys are coming to me with, and I'm like, what the heck? Because if I'm going to charge somebody $75,000, I got to confuse them, right? I can't teach them something as simple as something dropping 25 or 30%, because then they're going to feel like they ain't getting their money's worth. So I got to make it complicated where I don't even understand it, right? And then I ain't even going to show you how I use it, right? So, I see it all day, every day. And it just, I don't know what it is about the stock market is the only market where cats can just get away with it over and over and over and over again. So it looks like a decent buy. All right, we got dang Sam them put all the stocks in there. All right, I'm gonna get off in about 20 minutes because I really do have to go, and I'm gonna go live later at 6 o'clock on TikTok, where I'm gonna be talking to myself because it's gonna be one person in there. I got a nice little number of people on right now. You guys can't see all the numbers, but we're like right around 100 people right now from all the different sources like LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, multiple pages on Facebook. All right, so what are we looking at? That was APLD. We're going to look at, USAR. All right, so if you're into rare elements, this is very, very popular. Now, look, guys, I'm even thinking about buying this. Now, why are USAR important? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up my GPT for you guys. So we're in a battle with China right now. I just said, I was talking about this on my TikTok live yesterday. So rare earths, we're going to go to Chat GPT. We're going to literally, this is what I want you guys to start doing. You go to a GPT, ask it like, what is USAR, and is it a good investment? Now, it might ask you what time frame you're looking at, but because I put investment, see, my GPT guy is going to break it down into less than 12 months or more than 12 months. I did this on purpose because I'm a real trader and investor. So I wanted to break it down because, a lot of you guys think that an investment is just how much money you put into it. So I'm just going to put more. I'm going to say a couple of years. And let's see what it says. I have no idea what it's going to say. Now it pulls up a chart. So you can pull up a 5-year chart. You see that it's going down and you see the moves, right? You see it go down. That's probably about half this move. If I looked here where it says, I don't have a value, but if it looks like right around $8, looks like it ran to about, I don't know, $12. So about $8 to 12. Then it dropped back down to 10, and it jumped up to 15, and then down to about 12 again. And then it ran from 15 all the way up to 30. Okay. So it's a pretty volatile stock. Even this year, you see that it ran from about $5 a share all the way up to about $37 a share. But let's see what it says, right? Great. Since you're looking at a multi-year investment in USA rare earth, here's an in-depth look what the company is and what the opportunities are, and whether it might be a nice fit for your long-term view. So it's a U.S.-based company engaged in mining, processing, and supplying rare earth and critical minerals, including neodymium, dysprosium, terbium, gallium, and lithium. Lithium being the one that a lot of us know, right? So lithium is used for a lot of batteries, right? So here's what's interesting too. Rare earths is used in a lot of clean energy and EV type stuff. The Trump administration that's in right now, they basically was like, F anything that involves, cleaning up the earth. Trump also says that all of this stuff is a hoax. So he's using all of his power to basically blackball all of these different industries, right? China stockpiled all of this stuff probably within the last 4, 5, 6 years, which is why I also think maybe the administration is like F, electric cars, F like solar and this, that, and the other. But here's the thing, lithium also is used in batteries, which we're going to need the power from with AI. So, it's interesting the fight that we're having, but that's why you saw such a big dip in the stock's price, because Um, Electric vehicle consumption decreased over the last year. Most companies had an oversupply of the vehicles because the administration that was in before, they were pushing it. That's all they were pushing. Electric cars, they were like, by this particular year, your car has to be energy efficient. New administration came in and was like, F that. It's all about hybrid vehicles. It's all about nuclear. It's all about oil. So, in my opinion, can this stock continue to go down? Yes, it can. And how far can it come down? Probably the average, which is the 200-day moving average. It has not started to go back up yet. We call this a falling knife. A falling knife means you have no idea where the bottom is. Okay. But what I do know is that once it starts to go above this line, which is what we call a trend line, then you might want to take a shot at it. Now, I know this isn't the way that you think when it comes to investing. We're all taught in our lives to buy things low. But what they didn't tell us was how low can things actually go. See, this bad, you can get in at 19 thinking it's a deal because, it's half off. It was $45. Half of 45 is 22. You could have thought that it was on sale because it was 50% off. And a lot of people bought it right here at that 50% area. And it kind of started to go sideways. But until you break this trend to the upside where people are willing to pay a higher price, which is 22, 23, and 24, which will cause what we call a short squeeze, this bad boy can drop all the way to it can drop all the way down to 9, which is why I use the what would Joel do method, which is stop trying to catch falling knives. The only time you catch falling knives, guys, is when the volatility index is above 50. That's the only time you're ever going to see Joel Harrison try to reverse the market. And y'all know I've caught the last 6 bottoms because I use my own method, right? Because again, I'm a real trader, right? But even here, you see how it went down, 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 down. And a lot of people missed out on this because it broke out. It broke this trend line, but then it started to go green. Joel would have been in somewhere right around there at $14 using my method, right? Joel, you wouldn't have bought it there. I promise you, every single chart that we look at, if you see something fall like this and it breaks a trend line and it starts to go green and it's before 5 candles, that's literally the what would Joel do method. You had a 513 cross, that's one of your triggers. Why am I giving you guys this stuff for free? Because I can sit here and teach y'all everything I know for free. It don't mean that you're going to apply it. For you teachers that are afraid to give freely, they still got to apply what you're teaching. And they're going to come to you so that you can educate them on how to do it. But how do they know it works if you don't show it to them? That's why I get so upset with teachers, because they're like, oh, that's my property and that's my strategy. And if I put it out there, somebody's going to steal it. So what are you doing? Making every person that buy your class sign an NDA? I've gone to so many different websites where they would like, that's how I know my name must be getting kind of popular, because I'll see them talking about Bollinger Bands or talking about John Carter, and then I'm seeing the what would Joe do method, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like my method is actually being used, which is a combination of all of these different brilliant people that are out there. Right. So, I'm still young. Maybe when I get about 60 or 70, I might be that famous person that most of these traders actually get to. But when you think about it, like real talk, who like you can't even name a trader. Like we can name investors like Warren Buffett, right? You can name, the guy that did the Big Short, right? But then outside of that, like traders just don't become famous. The people that are really making the money and moving the market are not known. They're behind closed doors. They're not really doing anything. But the biggest names that are out there are educators and teachers teaching classes, but off of what? They don't have strategies. They're just teaching you. So yeah, I have a beef with that's my beef with a lot of the market, and that's why I rant about it all the time, because I want you guys to make money. You make money by listening to traders. You make money by watching traders make moves, and they do it constantly, and they do it with confidence, and they do it with a strategy, and it's simple for anybody to be able to see. All right, so I wouldn't really take that particular trade yet, but if you wanted to buy it for a longer term, then you can possibly do that. All right, we got Sebastian talking about PayPal. So PayPal, guys, just paired up with, was it NVIDIA? I might be wrong. Let's go to AI. See, I don't want to go out there and give y'all the wrong information. PayPal just yesterday buddied up with somebody. Who did PayPal buddy up with? I'm literally putting that in me and my GPT. We got a special relationship. I'll be talking to it like it's my buddy for real. Who did PayPal buddy up with recently? PayPal buddied up with OpenAI. PayPal partners with OpenAI to let users pay for their shopping within ChatGPT. I'm telling you guys, ChatGPT is I actually think ChatGPT is going to give the world a run to be the largest company on the planet. Like when it comes out, I'm buying it just because I just want to own it just so you can own it, right? I think it's going to IPO at $1 trillion, which is absolutely. I remember the first $100 billion company that IPO'd at $100 billion, and we was like, that's ridiculous. Y'all know freaking Rivian IPO'd at like 80 or 90 like billion dollars, which is ridiculous. I think it's worth like 5 or 4 billion now. But anyway, but PayPal partnered up with OpenAI. So let's see what the charts are doing, right? That's the information I want to see. Now, what you guys do, which is the lazy route, is you'll read that information and you're like, this is some great news. I'm going to go buy PayPal today. Now, 50% of you guys are going to be wrong. 50% of you guys are going to be right. But what is Joel going to do? Joel says, I'm going to take that information, but it ain't no way in hell I'm going to just buy it just because great news came out. Because if great news came out, that means the people that knew that news was going to come out already knew that news, months ago. And they are going to sell. So what is the stock doing? Now, here's what's interesting. Oh my God. Now, this chart is very, very interesting. Very interesting. Because that news that just came out is actually phenomenal news. But the charts are bad. So, how do I treat this? What would Joel do, right? Joel will say, look, what I do notice on this chart is that I do see a bottoming pattern, right? We hit a low of about $49. And we sat at $49 for a very long time. We're at 68 now, right? So we bottom out for this was 2022, guys. So from 2022, 2023 went by, 2024 went by, 2025 went by. We are entering 2026, which has been 4 years of a bottoming out process. So I always get this saying wrong. The wider the base, the higher the space. I think that's it. This is basing out so long fundamentally with that good news that yes, I would consider buying this as an investment, but you can't expect this thing to turn around in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, maybe even 6 months. But it does look like it's the type of stock that you probably want to be in for the next couple of years, especially if they partner up with OpenAI. But I want to see money start flowing into it first. So when I look at the charts, this is what happened today. Remember how I told y'all when the news comes out, they were going to sell? How many of you guys got duped? I didn't even know what the chart was going to do. I'm a real trader, so I know how we think. We sell on news. When we hear great news come out, we be like, OpenAI just partnered up with PayPal. Now I only got about 1,000 shares, but because you my friend, I'm gonna sell you like a couple of hundred shares. You down with that? Because you my boy, so I'm gonna sell you a couple of my shares, but because I'm cool with you. But what they were doing was they were selling those shares because they actually knew it was gonna go down in price, and they knew that news 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days prior to that coming out. So now PayPal is plummeting. You should have known that was going to happen, because when you get news like that and you look at a chart where the 200-day is angled down, and you're using the what would Joe do method, you're already like, I want to be cautious, because if money's flowing out of it, just because that news came out does not mean that this is the turning point. Now, could we bottom today, go up and never come back? Yeah. But guess what, guys? I don't have to be the dude that buys it right here. Y'all try to be this cat right here, because you only feel great about yourself if you're the person that bought it at the lowest price. I don't know if it's ego. I don't know if it's what. You gotta be the best. Joel, I want to buy it here. And I'm like, does it matter if I buy it at 66, 67, 68, 69, 70? Does it matter if I buy it at 80? Does it matter if I buy it at 90? Does it matter if I even buy it at 100? If we gonna go all the way back to its all-time highs, which was, hold on, let me look at the chart, which was 310. Doesn't matter if I bought it at 60, 67, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. If I'm going to make a 200% return, see, y'all aren't thinking like people that actually want to make money. You're thinking about, I want to be the person that bought it at the lowest price. Y'all know there's people in the room that's got a higher percentage than I do in NVIDIA. All right. Was it luck? Was it because I was dollar cost averaging? I don't know. Are they better than me as a trader? They might have caught one trade better than me, but are they better? Arguably, some of them are. There's a lot of people in the room that I really respect as traders. I'm just throwing that out there. Just because you get a lower price doesn't, like, some of you guys are not making solid decisions because you're trying to make the perfect trade. Stop doing that. When the momentum starts to go, the goal is getting in, holding it to 300. And there's going to be some, there might be issues on the way up to 300. So I don't like sitting in it like this. Some people have been in this bad boy for 4 years. I was even in PayPal when this was happening. Y'all ain't heard me talk about PayPal for 3 years. You know why? Because I'm a real trader. When the 200-day started to angle down, there was no need for it to even be on my radar ever again until that news came out. And even with that news, I'm like, man, whatever. It's still a dog. It's still a dog that has to prove itself. Just because it's got a deal with OpenAI does not necessarily mean that it's going to pay off. You got to wait a quarter or two. But that doesn't mean that you can't buy it right now. It just means don't go get a line of credit off on your house and put it into PayPal hoping that this is it. Some of you guys have done that and have won. I promise you, if you keep doing that, you're not gonna win. So some of you guys just get lucky. And I don't want to crap on your luck on what you've done, as an investment. I'm just a statistics guy. I just run off math and statistics, right? You keep trading and investing that same way, at some point you're going to get bit. All right. So I'm going to stay away. I'm going to stay away until it starts to go up. It started to go up here in 2024, but then it started to go back down again. Okay. So even if you bought it here, look, even if you bought it here in 2024 using the what would Joe do method, even if you were using a what would Joe do method, which is buy it when the 200-day is angled up, you see it hit the 200-day again up, I would have been in somewhere around 62. Okay, it's at 67 right now. You're not losing any money, but you did spend a lot of time not making any money. And even when it dropped again, the lowest price that it dropped to, guys, remember, if I had gotten in at 62, The lowest price it had gotten to was 56. So even if I bought it at 62, at some point I probably would have been out here. I would have had a stop at 62. It would have sold. I would have been out of that trade. Mad is all out. And then if you wanted to get back in, guys, guess what that price would have been? 62. 62. If you really had to own that stock using the what would you hold about it? All right. Cool. But nah, I'm gonna stay away from it for a minute until I see it turn around. Okay. I actually want to see this 200-day up. I don't mind getting, I told you, I don't care if this bad boy goes all the way to 100. Because even if this stock, let's say this stock runs and I miss out on it, and y'all tell me how you bought it sight unseen in the trading room, even if it grows, think like a trader. Think like a trader. Even if that stock pushes all the way to 100 from here, and it pushes all the way from here, all the way to 100. For you guys that don't use the Fibonacci, which I don't know why, like, I don't understand. A lot of you guys came in the room and started talking crap about the Fibonacci. I'm like, okay. But if we were to go from 65 all the way to 100 and we pull back 50%, we still going to get back to about $80 or $73, even with this push. So do I have to sit back? Like, I'll see it go to 100. And then if it comes back, this 200-day is going to start turning back around. And when this 200-day starts to turn back around, now this is where you have to have a little bit of this is where you got to be creative and be able to see things before it happens, right? This looks like it's going to do this. If it starts to turn around, it'll start going like this and then start coming back up right around 82. If this starts to push up to about $100, when it comes back, it's going to hit this 92 area right when this starts to turn around like this, which is where everybody wants to buy it now. So in my genius mind, this is the price I'm looking at, 82. And you're like, but why would you get in at 82 if we at 67 now? Because you're not thinking like a trader. You're thinking like the other 90%. Which is why you're going to have to change a little bit. I want you guys to start using momentum as your friend. The trend is your friend until it ends, right? And if you're going to take a shot at something like this, you put 25% in and then you wait. Then you put another 25% in. And then you can maybe go all in. Or let's say you're hitting this now and the volatility index is above 30. Because, guys, the VIX ain't even that high right now. Right? The VIX is at 16. It's like at the lowest points of the year. If this VIX even moves a little bit, it's going to make everything fall in price. So I'll wait until then, right? If I miss PayPal, I miss PayPal. But I'm not going to go against the way that I trade in order for that to happen. All right, cool. So Shamika said NVTS. Did we already look at Novartis? No, we didn't. All right, NVTS. And Chastity said, I love a Joel rant. I know. I got to keep it entertaining for you guys. This is a good one, Shamika. Shamika, the best travel agent on the planet. I'm going to keep saying that because I'll forever remember my Maldives trip. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to top that trip. I think we peaked. Now, we do have a trip set up for Africa, so I'm kind of excited about that. I'm not telling y'all when it is because some of y'all out there evil. But, you know, we got a Africa trip that we're thinking about going on. But Novartis, guys, look at the chart. What is it telling you? We're breaking a resistance area. We did spike in price, and it just looks like it wants to. Oh, I said Novartis. This is Navitas. It's a semiconductor. I'm sorry about that. I am dead wrong. That is not Novartis. It's Navitas. It's a semiconductor company. So semiconductor companies are doing well because of AI. So this is how you make a lot of money in the market, right? Or trade, right? When the semiconductor space goes up, I want you guys to compile watch list of semiconductors. So like even over here, when I look at semiconductors, I have all of these different lists. I can go over here and I can pick semiconductor companies. Now, NVTS is not one of them. So, because we talked about it today, let me make sure I didn't add it. Okay, that's alphabetical order. I'll go ahead and add it right here just because if one of you guys are talking about it, maybe it should be on my radar. And when I pull it up over here, it's going to tell me how big it is in comparison to everything else. So if you notice, guys, we're talking about a small cap semiconductor company. All right. Nvidia is worth 5 trillion. This is the smallest semiconductor on this page. That means it's a baby, but that doesn't mean that it can't grow, but it is going to be volatile, right? Babies are very, very emotional. They can cry one minute and be happy the next minute, then cried and happy, then cried and happy, then sleep. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to be volatile, right? It's I don't have the beta on here, which is wild. Huh. But whatever the case, you can tell it's a high beta stock, but it's moving and it's a $2 billion company. Remember, we don't look at anything that's $1 billion or less because that's considered a penny stocks. And I'm going to put this out on a plaque. Who buys penny stocks? Losers. Anybody that wants to lose all of their money, go buy penny stocks. Like, it's just very easy. Like, give me your money. I don't want it anymore. All right. But it's starting to break down. Now, what do we notice on this chart? If you're looking at a day chart, I mean, when something runs for 10 days, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. After about 10, 12 days, it's going to take a break. And then if you were using your Fibonacci tool that y'all don't want to use for some silly reason, it might come down to 1161 and then maybe go a little bit higher. But at least if it's pulled back that full 50%. And then you also want to test it, right? This is why a lot of the times the Fibonacci doesn't work because a lot of you guys don't test it, right? If I tested it here and I see it pull back, what does it pull back to? Perfectly 50, and y'all got something bad to say about it. It's because y'all don't know how to use it, because most of the time traders that are talking bad about it probably ain't trading. All right. Now, on this move, it pulled back to 400%, but at least, 50. It gave some people a shot and then it reversed and then people got out of it and then it pulled the complete 100% before it started to go higher. Well, now, if I use this low down here, we're kind of close. It looks like it's probably going to get to this $11.60 area. Now, when it goes up 10, use the what would Joe do method. The what would Joe do method says, guys, there's history behind you. Use the history. If you see that this goes red and you see that it goes red for 10 days, and then you see this one go red for 12 days, right? And then you go back and you see every time it goes red, right? Every time it goes red, that's 6 days, then, 7 or 8 days, then 13 days, then 10 days, then 20 days, then 10, 10, 10, right? Then 10, then another 10. I don't ever see, I can go all the way back to 2023. And the shortest time period when it went red was like 3 or 4 days. So can it do something like this? Yeah. But that's when the 200 day is angled down. When the 200 day is angled up, you get like 4-day moves to the downside. 4 days, right? 4 days. And then it kind of moves to the upside. So if the 200 day is angled up and this is 1, 2, 3, and we've seen at least 4 days, well, at least wait 4, 5 days. You buying it right now just because you have a hunch and you got to go to work on Monday is why you guys lose money. I did that literally in 15 seconds. Okay, we'll say a minute. It should take a minute for you guys to be able to make a decision. A minute. Y'all ain't got a minute. Not you, Shamika, but just people in general when they're thinking about entering particular trades or investments. So It looks good. It looks like it's going to get some downside, but it's a bullish stock. Okay. Andrew said, "What up, Jay?" SMCI. SMCI experienced some turbulence over the last 365 days, but what's your opinion about it now as a long-term 5+ year investment? Woo! SMCI, another semiconductor company. Why is everybody buying semiconductor companies? Because AI cannot operate without semiconductor companies. So again, let's go see how big SMCI actually is, right? So SMCI is actually already on this list. Y'all see that? Take a snapshot. I don't care, right? So these are some of my favorite semiconductor companies. SMCI, as far as size, is only $29 billion in size. That means when you guys are buying stock and trading them, y'all need to know how big that. You need to know if you're dealing with a teenager, an adolescent, a baby, or an adult, or or an elderly person, right? So Nvidia's 5 trillion, dropped a little bit today. SMCI is 29, right? On Holdings is 20. Skyworks Solution is like 11. So they're all kind of like these mid cap, middle size companies can grow. And SMCI used to be $100 billion company, right? So once we know the market cap, we kind of know how much money we can make. We know that there's money to be made there. Actually, there's more money to be made there than I would think maybe even Nvidia, because if if SMCI used to be $120 in price at its all-time highs, and we're sitting at 51, that means it can double in price and get to 122. If you put your money in Nvidia, in order for Nvidia to double in price, you need $5 trillion, which is literally all the money out of all the other exchanges on the planet needs to flow into Nvidia for it to be $10 trillion, because it's already $5 trillion, which is actually absolutely ridiculous. But that's just how it is. So in order for it to double, it needs to be even more ridiculous. So is it more likely that AMD is going to, Nvidia is going to go to 10 trillion, or SMCI going from 29 billion to, to 50 billion? Shoot, SMCI could get bought out by Nvidia. Nvidia, you don't think if you don't think a $5 trillion company got $20 billion they can throw out there and buy the whole company out? When you have when you're as small enough for a larger company to completely buy you out, that means you have room to run to the upside. SMCI is not $1 trillion in size. It's not $3 trillion in size. It's 20 billion in size. All right. And I take that back. I thought it was $100 billion company before. I was wrong, but it was a $50 billion company. So I apologize for that incorrect assessment. Brian says, "Oh, now y'all want the questions to come. What time do you be going live?" I go live. I know I go live at 6 o'clock on TikTok. And if you're on TikTok and you can't find me, then that's just on you. It's What Would Joe Do? I'm What Would Joe Do on every platform except uh Instagram, where I'm Joel the Ninja Trader. And I got a What Would Joe Do account, but it got hacked like 8 years ago. So I had to create a new account. And I just recently, after 6 years, was able to get into that account because I found the password on my phone, which was kind of wild, but it's wild how I even was able to find it. All right. Hood. All right, Hood. So Hood is Robin Hood, guys. Very good stock. My kids love this stock. We sitting at all-time highs. As a trade with 3 days in, could it run to the all-time highs? It could. I'm not really trading anything to the upside. I put out an alert earlier through the What Would Joe Do app that these are some trades that you could take intraday and maybe a couple of days. But after the last 2 days, I'm shutting down my trades again. All of them pretty much broke even. So I'm just chilling again. And just waiting to see what the market's going to do, because the market usually doesn't start running for the Christmas rally until after Thanksgiving. Right after Thanksgiving, that's when the market starts to pick up all the way until about April. So I'm not really feeling the market. That's why it's so perfect for me to teach you guys this 30-day challenge and then another 30-day challenge. And then right when the year opens up, you're going to get a lot of volatility. It's going to be the perfect time to be able to trade, do the millionaire challenge. Crystal says, I was wondering what happened to the other live at 1:30. Yeah, I went on at 1:30, and simultaneously I look outside and Comcast was cutting off my power because they're digging new lines in our yard. So they're putting the cables under the ground, and they cut my power out for 45 minutes. So I apologize. They ain't even tell me they were going to do it. Chris had the same question. I guess it was about what happened to that 1:30 live, and then I deleted it too. I was only on for like 9 minutes. I didn't even start teaching. I literally came on and then it cut the power off. What stocks do you see as the next Nvidia or Netflix? That's a great question. I don't know. As far as the next Nvidia, let me think. I think maybe OpenAI might be the next Nvidia. AMD is getting a nice little push right now. All of these different companies that are at the top are invested in but OpenAI is something to watch, right? OpenAI and anything that's similar to it, like they really are about to change the way we do everything. And the way these industries work, just like it did back when when the internet first came out, is you get a push, and then all of a sudden all these other companies that want to be similar to it, they're going to all get wiped out, and then there's going to be a winner. Usually the winner is always the one that's already the largest already, right? Amazon survived all of the e-commerce companies that came out. eBay actually survived because Amazon could have literally obliterated eBay too. But normally about 2 or 3 of those e-commerce or 2 or 3 companies in a certain industry, because you can't have a monopoly, will survive. And then everybody else will get knocked down. So I don't know. But that's why we come on here, so that we can look at these smaller companies. It could be the one that, Shamika was showing us earlier, MBTS, right? We won't know, but I'll tell you one thing. When I do see something that I like and I think it can change the world, y'all will hear me talking about it over and over and over and over again. I'm not really that hype. I haven't seen a company that has given me the same passion as Nvidia or Tesla or Bitcoin or Netflix in a minute. But OpenAI is kind of that it's that company that's kind of trying to take that position. All right, thoughts on CMG. So CMG is Chipotle. Chipotle dropped like a ridiculous amount of money. Like today, it's down 18%. What do I think? This is all I got to say. That's all I got to say. If I looked at the week chart, now the week chart is angled up. So, I see why a lot of people would buy it here. So if you're buying this multi-year, buy it. If you're buying this expecting it to turn in the next day or two, you don't know how to trade. All right, because this thing can go any lower. I will buy something like this if it was a falling knife, if the VIX was over 30, but it ain't. So this bad boy can go even lower. Denny Tyler says, should we look at XRP as a short-term trade? Heard it's supposed to blow up in December, or is it more of a long-term investment? Well, first of all, XRP, guys, is Ripple. Let's use a different platform. Let's use Yahoo Finance. Most of you guys, when I hear ignorant comments like cryptocurrency is just snake oil, it's worth nothing, I say, word? Who are you talking to? Have them call me and let me know what they do. A lot of the times they will work for the bank, right? But I always say you can't say something is worth nothing when you come down here and you see 144 billion in it. That means Tim Cook is dumb. That means, Mark Cuban is dumb. That means Kramer that's on TV is dumb. That means Joel is dumb. That means all of these different big name people that are invested in these particular assets are just dumb, right? And we're not dumb, right? There's a reason why we buy these particular assets, because they actually are worth something. Now, their utility, y'all can argue with their utility on how it's being used, but that's not how, if you've ever seen how a Ponzi scheme or pyramid scheme, or even the way the stock market works, value is just determined on individuals, humans. And once a value is determined and you see it, you got to stop thinking like all these other people. And as long as it's over $1 billion in market cap, guys, if money is flowing, if everybody out there is talking about it and you see it on TV, and you see everybody on TV talking about it, like, it's, in my opinion, it's ego, and it's listening to the wrong people that has never made any money, right? Because it's just common sense that if money's flowing into something, I don't care how you feel about it, it's going up in price. Where it can go to is where the questions come in, right? Okay, it's 144 billion. So anybody buying Ethereum thinking that it's going to $2,000 a share, you guys are in the same boat as all of these other people that says it's not worth anything. Because what? Because you thinking that it can go to 2,000 a share is the novice, uneducated way of coming into the market. You're not looking at the fundamentals. The fundamentals is, all right, XRP utility is this. Why are investors investing in it? They're investing in it because they believe it can do this, this, that, and the other. Okay, how much is it worth? Right? Investors always ask, what is the market cap? Is it $1 billion, $2 billion? How much money has flowed into it? 144 billion. Great. Is there any other cryptocurrencies that are larger than XRP? Yes. Bitcoin. How much is Bitcoin worth? $2 trillion. Whoa. And XRP is what? The third largest cryptocurrency on the planet. Bitcoin's at 2 trillion. Ethereum's is at what, 500 or 600 billion? XRP is at 144, and it's the third largest cryptocurrency. And there's utility there. If you've done your research, even if you had gone here to like that's why I said stop talking to silly people who always got an opinion. Like, stop it. It makes me angry. Like, what is, like, if you don't know it, ask the GPT. What is the utility of XRP, and what countries and banks are using it, and why do people think it's worthless? Look, I can literally ask this anything I want to. What is the utility of XRP? What countries and banks are using it? And why do people think it's worthless? Great question. XRP is controversial, polarizing digital asset out there. Let's break it down into 3 questions: utility, adoption, and skepticism. Okay. Right. So I get it. We don't understand all this stuff. The core utility of XRP is, I don't know. All right. Real world example: if a bank in Mexico wants to send money to a bank in Thailand without XRP, you have to go through SWIFT processing. With XRP, it converts the pesos to XRP, transfer XRP in seconds, and then it goes into another account. Guys, I figured this out back in 2018. You know how I figured this out? Because when I bought the XRP, I had a friend of mine who owned XRP. Who owned a digital wallet. And I said, hey, let me send you some money and let's see how fast it happens. And it happened within seconds. And I didn't have to go through a bank. I didn't have to go through people. And I immediately was like, oh my God, this is going to change the world. Everybody thinks cryptocurrencies are coins. They're not coins, they're vehicles. If you've come on my lives, I've been saying this for years. They're vehicles. They're not coins. They're vehicles. You jump into a ship that's faster than anything else out in the world, and it can take I can take $10 million, put it into this car, which is Ripple. I can send that 10 million over to Japan in seconds. And that person over there can take those funds, convert it back over into whatever their currency is, and you bypass the whole SWIFT system. And y'all still out there talking about it's worthless. It's worthless. Why you buying this? My cousin Jack said that the dollar is never gonna get replaced. Just sounding just ignorant. Just ignorant. Cause you ain't never sent you ain't never bought it, you never sent it, and you never talked to somebody who owns it. You just see kids using it and making money on it. So you just determine, oh, they don't know as much as I know. And then you missed out on the fastest growing assets in history because you want to be ignorant. Now, Joel was talking about it, and Kramer was talking about it, and Tim Cook was talking about it, and Jamie Dimon, who's the leader of the so-called Illuminati at the JP Morgan Bank, says, oh, we don't believe in the crypto, but we do believe in the blockchain space because y'all aren't listening to what you need to be listening to. They said, we're building the blockchain and we're adding it to our own system, and it's going to change the world. So you listen to what you want to listen to and not what you have to listen to or what you should be listening to. And then y'all miss out on it. Then you get mad at everybody when everybody else make a whole bunch of money on it and you don't, because of your ignorance. And it happens every day, guys. Stop listening to thousandaires. They will lose you money. Now, what I do know about XRP is that Japan, which I thought it was going to put, but it says bullish case. Like, I get it. This is all very, unless you go down the rabbit hole, it's very hard to understand it, right? But Japan is using it. There's a whole bunch of different countries that a lot of Asian banks, household banks. I had a bunch of buddies that went out to Asia for about 3 or 4 months, and they were telling me how, the banking system out there, they're using it just like it's nothing, right? Because we only see what's happening over here in America and not what's happening all over the world, or in places where the financial system is so terrible, they have to use crypto to be able to send money to and from places because of inflation, hyperinflation, and all types of stuff. So there is a use case for it. You just got to do a little bit of research to kind of figure out what's happening with it. But as far as supposed to blow up in December, well, crypto is supposed to blow up right after Thanksgiving, just like anything else. Part of the crypto rally, go up in value. Nothing is 100%. So don't put all your money into the market thinking that that's what's going to happen. All right, I got to get out of here, guys. It's 4:28. I know I ran it, went on and on about a lot of stuff. I didn't get all the questions in, and I apologize because all the questions started coming in like late. And I know that's because my live went down at 1:30, and then I had to come back on at 2:30. But because I promised you guys at least an hour or two of content, that's why I made sure that I went all the way to 4:30. I wanted to make sure that you guys saw this video. Again, I'm going to start the Millionaire Challenge, which is a challenge that's going to start. Hold on. The challenge starts on November the 1st, which is Saturday. So anybody that doesn't know anything about the market, I am giving free. How do I take this off? I am doing everything for free, just like I'm doing today. I'm gonna do everything for free on the 1st. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna come on TikTok early that morning. I'm gonna do a topic, and every single day we're just gonna talk about one basic thing, right? Each day it's gonna get more and more advanced. First day is, what is a stock, right? Second day might be market cap, right? Third day, second day will probably be, what is a ticker symbol? So a lot of you guys won't even have to tune in until about the 10th or 15th day. All right. But I'm gonna take you through the process, the millionaire mindset. What is a stock? All the way up until you get a little bit intermediate, how to position yourself. I haven't even created it yet. I'm literally going off the fly, but I'm gonna make sure it's 30 days from beginner to intermediate trader. Then in December, I'm going to do intermediate trader to advanced. You're going to learn futures options for free if you come on. I'm trying to monetize the TikTok platform. And then the Millionaire Challenge starts in January. I showed you guys a trade today, easy trade. That's what I'm using. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm looking up very speculative, high beta stocks, trading them, trying to earn 100% return in a day. The goal is to try to take $1,000 to $1,000,000 in, a couple of, in about 10 trades. And I want you guys to do it as well because that's the fastest way to $1,000,000. All right, guys, the fastest way to $1,000,000 is not $50,000 a year for 20 years, right? Is that right? Yeah, 50 times 20. The fastest way, and I'm going to get out of here, the fastest way, and I'm coming to you guys from Decatur where it's greater, the fastest way to $1,000,000 is this. All right, guys, take it easy. Later.